Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Freight Be Moving, all things logistics with me, Jewell Williams, your host. I hope you're all having an outstanding day. And today, this day, let's see, we got Thanksgiving on Thursday, so we got about 2 more days before we're allowed to have some fun time, fun food, laughter, and all that intermingling. So today, I wanted to talk about people being on the holidays, meeting truckers as well, and they're going to be parking their trucks. And theft is a big thing going on right now with a lot of freight. And it's coming in all different sizes, all different shapes. It's ridiculous. There's reports that identity theft is being taken from brokers, double brokering, triple brokering. People are just hijacking the truck altogether and thinking they can run away with it and nobody will ever see that 18-wheeler rolling down the street with all these things and attachments to it. And trucks don't move that fast anyway. So it amazes me at what people think a truck's going to like just disappear. It doesn't. So I wanted to address this topic and some of the solutions some companies are coming up with to help shippers track their freight and help them with visibility. And if you're a freight broker, freight agent, or dispatcher, these issues are going to impact the way you do business. Because as shippers find better ways to keep an eye on their freight, they are going to migrate to that. And our government is incentivizing new ways of stopping this theft and all this freight being mismanaged, lost, damaged, you name it, because it is costly. It is costing not only in the production, it is costing in insurance. It's just a huge cost altogether. And to help reduce those costs or control and minimize the risk, our government is incentivizing companies, tech companies, to come up with ways to track the freight. And I released an article the other day. There's a link I'm going to put up above my head. You'll probably see it. And that talked about the new mandate that the FMCSA was talking about, tracking every single tractor trailer on the road. And that's going to happen. I'm almost positive it's going to happen. It's going to happen because it's going to be coming into the form of these new electronic vehicles, as they will have the sensors built into them to allow them to do so. Because, a trucker can cut off his phone and disappear if they wanted to lose the tracking ability. So you can track the phone up to a point to where that trucker could discard or get rid of that phone. So there's still the potential of a trucker stealing something. And I'm not talking about reputable truckers. No offense to truckers who are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. But we definitely have a serious theft problem in the freight industry in many forms. So I wanted to talk about that today. And what got me on the subject, I read an article in CDL Life. This was posted by Ashley, November 21st, 2022. The headline reads, "Alert, Cargo Theft Risk on the Rise During the Thanksgiving Weekend." And that is a real thing. Most truckers are going to be going home. They're going to be parking their vehicles at truck stops. Your pilots, your Flying J's, which they're one in the same company now, your TAs, your Loves, and they may be leaving those trucks unmanned. And cargo thieves, they watch, they pay attention. Now, most of the trailers have seals on them, but those seals are plastic. And some of them will have a metal seal, but those things can be ripped off it just doesn't take much to rip them off. Now, there are some that have those big bolts, which you need a bolt cutter to get. Yet there are locks that we used in our company that were very hard to cut through, but very few truck drivers have those locks, and because they are a little spendy. So it's going to be important for drivers out there to secure your trailers. And if you're going to drop your trailer in the lot, definitely have one of those air brake locks. I used to use those all the time when I dropped my trailers, air brake locks. So that way it prevented anybody from hooking up to my trailer and taking the trailer altogether. So that's the first thing that got me to thinking about that. And this was a few years ago that the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration released an alert to broker and carrier fraud and identity theft. And that is still going on today. Now, I'm going to have a link to this particular article in the show notes because it has some contact information for anybody who has experienced cargo theft or identity theft in the form of as a freight broker or carrier. Now, I read a post on a Reddit a few days ago, and someone had this very situation happen. Somebody was using their MC number or DOT number, one of the two, and they were contacting shippers with it, and they found out that, you know, this particular person who had used the number had obviously gotten some freight, and the person was attempting to collect, yet, you know, when they went to collect, they weren't collecting it from the right person. Now, how this happens is because your DOT numbers and your MC numbers are available on the FMCSA website, and that is public knowledge, free information. So a lot of people take advantage of that, and they are scrupulous with it. So it's definitely important that you are covering yourself so that you can make sure that this doesn't happen to you. But the article basically says that you can report, and it has some information on how you can report such things. You can reach out to the U.S. Department of Transportation website. It has a link here. It also has a hotline number. They also encourage you to file a complaint with the National Consumer Complaint Database, and there is a website link on that as well. You want to definitely contact your insurance company if you are the carrier that had this situation happen. And if you are the shipper, you want to be contacting. And if you're a broker, hey, why not? If you need to contact yours, just make sure you're covering your butt. I don't blame you. And it also has some other links on here for carriers and some steps that brokers can take that may have been connected to this particular situation. Another article that came out was on the Overdrive website. And Overdrive is a website that is manned by Randall Raleigh. I believe they are the guys that used to make the maps. I'm not 100% sure. The name sounds familiar. But anyway, moving on. So this one is by Todd Drills. Came out October 4th, 2022. So it's a little bit behind, but it talks about double brokering scams that can result in theft of more than just money. And absolutely. And double brokering scams they're just too easy to do when you don't have your business set up correctly. And I understand a lot of people want to jump into this business. They just want to get on the phone. They want to start booking that freight. They want to start calling on shippers, and it's a go, 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 and make that money. However, you must take the time to do due diligence. And due diligence means you might have to make one extra phone call to make sure that the person that you're dealing with is the actual person shipping the goods, or the actual person that you need to talk to. And it's too easy for shippers to prey on desperateness. So you gotta pull back. You gotta take your time. But I'm gonna have a link to this article if you want to read into it and what to keep look out for, and just keep yourself informed about what's going on. And then the other article I'm going to link into it is the National Insurance Crime Bureau, NICB. They released an article. It's a few years old, but it's still relevant. And it says cargo theft, a 15 to $35 billion problem. And that impacts all of us. It impacts the price of the goods. It impacts insurance rates. It impacts a lot of things in the economy. It's not just an isolation of that's their problem. It's not just their problem. It says while thefts occur in nearly every state, a few stand out as the biggest targets for cargo theft. The top 10 states are California, number 1. Number 2 is Texas. 3 is Florida. 4 is Illinois. 5 is New Jersey. 6 is Georgia. 7 Alabama. 8 North Carolina. 9 Indiana. And 10 Missouri. Those are the top 10 states that deal with cargo theft. And I think all of those are near ports. California, of course, being one of the biggest ports. I know Texas, the Gulf. Yep, Florida's got a little ring of water right there. So New Jersey's got a little port near there. Illinois, that's an inland port. That's interesting. Maybe it's coming off of the rail. Georgia, of course, you got Savannah Port. Alabama, I believe you might have the Gulf. Maybe some rail. But the point is, it's a problem, impacts everybody. But these states have some of your top 10 states that are suffering from excessive cargo theft. And these are very big states. Lots of brokers in those states. Now, one company, this article came out of HDT Trucking Info. There's a company out there right now, and there's probably just more than one, but this is the one that they're highlighting, that is creating a solution to the problem. Now, this article came out October 4th, 2022, and it's in HDT, H as in ham, D as in delicious, and T as in turkey. Trucking Info, and it says Transcard FreightX uses blockchain to connect shippers and carriers. I'm not surprised by this. I'm just surprised it didn't happen sooner. I'm not surprised at all. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. We are in a digital age. This is where it's going. And this is where shippers begin to carve out the freight broker and dispatcher. And it's going to leave an interesting dilemma, because you have freight bonds that freight brokers have to buy. You have the truck stops of the world and the DATs of the world that are using. But 9 times out of 10, I would almost guarantee that those companies are already shifting to where they're getting inside of the shippers and selling their services to them. And they are connecting EDI technologies with those shippers so that those shippers have front row seat and can bypass the freight broker. So I know you're probably thinking, why is she saying this? That's so negative. She's a freight broker. Because now is the time to start thinking about the future. This time next year, this ball game of shipping and transportation and logistics is going to look completely different. The monies that our United States government is pouring into the revamping of the supply chain, transportation, and logistics industries is just not going to go down. It's going to go up because it's an incentive for them. Our government is one of the biggest buyers of freight, transportation, and products. So if our government is spending money on the products and those products are getting stolen, that is costing our government, and they don't like it. So they too have an incentive to keep their eye on the freight. So what the article says here is payments and data technology company Transcard recently began offering a new FreightX freight processing solution powering enterprise blockchain deployment for end-to-end freight processing. The FreightX platform combines Smart Connect, a secure digital connection between each shipper and carrier, Smart Load Ledger, smart contracts and real-time rules, enhancements, and invoice updates, smart finance, embedded payments, and financing with auto reconciliation. The freight industry is plagued with disputed invoices, cash flow issues, and a lack of visibility that strains shippers and carrier relationships. You see how they didn't say shipper broker carrier relationships, they said shipper carrier relationships. That's why we created FreightX, an industry first solution built on a shared digital ledger between shippers and carriers. That was by a quote by CEO Greg Blow. I don't know how to pronounce his name, Bloh. So I went over to their website just to get some of the highlights in what they were offering. So here's some of the highlights. And now none of this is sponsored by FreightX. Let me put that out there. They're not sponsoring this. This is me doing me. Okay, back to our show. Is FreightX right for you? So FreightX is for shippers who struggle with inaccurate freight processing, high costs to third-party services, and damage relationships with critical carriers. And it's for carriers if payment delays caused by disrupted invoices or disputed invoices, unnecessary back office costs, and punitive early payment fees. So they are creating a solution that does not include freight brokers. Now the small shippers and the small carriers and the small house, it may not impact us as quickly. However, there are workarounds that shippers can come up with. And one of those workarounds is they take control of the shipment once it's ready to go. And if they take control of that shipment, that means they're using their carrier who's already connected into that system, and they can avoid dealing with all this other extra. So this is a game changer, just like all the other technology things that I spoke about weeks prior, in the fact that we as a country are shifting the way shipping, transportation, logistics, and supply chain, that whole ecosystem is shifting to a digital visibility, tracking, monitoring, getting information, rates, all of that. It's shifting to a digital platform. Pen and paper is going away. They want to minimize the time. They want to minimize the costs associated with the risk. It's all about reduce. And our government is on board. That's been one of the challenges in the past, is government getting on board. Now government's on board. This is where things are moving to. So let me hear your comments down below. Are you going to be impacted? Are you already impacted? Have you heard from customers telling you that they no longer want to utilize your service if you're a freight broker, freight agent, or dispatcher? If you're a carrier, have your shippers reached out to you directly to get on board with some of the plans that they're changing? Have you experienced any loss of business and not sure why you've experienced that loss of business? Comment down below. Let me know what's going on, what's happening in your field. I'm here to chat. All right. Almost the weekend, at least for me. Thursday is a holiday. Yeah, 4-day weekend coming up. So if you're out there driving on the road, please be safe. Pretty please. I'm begging. All right. 18-wheelers, 14-wheelers, share the road. Be kind. It's the holiday. Stop being nasty. You're going to be home and in your bed soon, chilling out with the kids and the family and whoever else. All right. I shall see you guys tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Peace.